Talks with Dorks. May the power protect you.
Let's rock it!
Welcome to a brand new episode of Talks with Dorks, your go-to geek podcast. And as you know, we are building our wrestling brand more and more with every single week. One week you'll get an episode of this podcast where we're talking our geeky shit. Next week you'll come back to the wrestling side of things and we'll introduce you to people along the way, like what I'm going to do right now. I'm introducing you to someone that we've had our eye on since we started TDW. Before it was even called TDW and we even thought this was going to be a wrestling company, it was just going to be a one-off. This man's name has been around the ether, but so far plans haven't worked out just yet, but 2026 is looking good. You know him as the Peckham Playboy. I know him as Hakan. Welcome to Talks with Dorks, dude. About time we finally got you on here.
It is about time, to be fair. The amount of times we tried to arrange this is this is a random time, a random day. But we're
Literally, Tuesday morning, 9 o'clock. You've got your tea. I'm going back to bed straight as soon as we finished. You're going to work.
I've got to go
to out of bed.
We'll go to the 9 to 5. Well, I say 9 to 5. I start at 1, so we're all right.
It's one of them, isn't it? Like the joys of, especially in this industry, like everyone that has random jobs to try to. I'm a DJ, so I'm so used to being up till 5 o'clock in the morning. So when I have to do normal daytime stuff like take the kids to school, it becomes such a hassle. Everyone else is happy to be up on a Monday or Tuesday morning. Not me.
I'm in bed, yeah, definitely.
So, I said your name has been floating around since we started, and you reached out to us when we first started, and I think at the time, it just didn't work out because I think we were fully booked at that point. Then we were looking to bring you in for Back in Time, and it was 1 minute it was can happen, but I think you had a booking already.
Yeah, same.
I mean, it can't be a bad thing if you're consistently booked.
Nope, not all, mate. I think this year has been absolutely manic booking-wise, especially before August. I was absolutely chock-a-block, 2, 3, travelling. I say travelling, not travelling that far. Travelling as far as I would like to travel. So, yeah.
But yeah, so what I mean. So that's one of those things that it's never a bad thing. It's just when people are trying to get you booked and want to bring you in, it becomes that like when.
The reason why I said throw me your 2026 dates as soon as you can, and I do say that to promoters. I said if you don't throw them to me, someone will, and I'll be booked. And then you're going to throw it to me, and it's going to be I can't do this one, so we go from there.
It looks like we may have confirmed the first show of next year.
Potentially.
The second show,
we'll see.
Which I've kind of let people know that because we started, the first show was May last year. Next year, our summer show is going to be June, a couple of weeks sort of after. So I've kind of put in my head that if that was the first show and that's going to be our big summer show, that will be our big show of the year. That'll be our Mania. That'll be our SummerSlam. That'll be the big one. So, I mean, I don't want to... I'm not giving away too much. I said to you before some of the names we've put in for that show. Yeah, wink, wink. But we're aiming for that one's going to be huge. I mean, in my head, and I'm saying too much, in my head, I was going to make it a 2-day event. But I'll be like, right.
Don't relax.
Yeah, slow down, right? You've only been doing this a year by that point. Chill out. I'm like, all right, okay. The numbers and things come to my head and I start blowing things out of proportion. It's one of them. It's easily done in this business because, like we always say, like it's one of those now we have our own box of wrestling toys that we get to play with and we get to play out our own storylines in our head with real wrestling figures. So it's nice to fantasize and make things bigger in your head than it already is.
Grow your brand first. Grow your product.
Exactly. And you've already eyed up the belt behind me. So, I mean, we're doing okay. We've got our first belt, and we are looking at bringing in more. And that in June will be where that champion is crowned. The only thing I can say to you, hey, is that because we're crowning the 2 people that will be there for that title match in February, so it may not be you going to be the first champion.
I'll be there. Don't worry. I'll be there.
Yeah.
If I'm not the first, I'll definitely hold it at one point.
Yeah, but that's the best way to look at it, right? And that's where we can start this conversation with is you. Obviously, 19 years, am I right? You've been in the
September was 19 years I started. So it's been a while, to be fair. And it's been up and down, but pretty much, I say, the last 10 years has been manic.
So where did it start? 2006, right? 2006
Yeah,
would have been where you started. Where did you start? Where did you train?
I trained in Enfield on a Sunday afternoon, all day long, spent in a school hall with a ring that was a death trap. And to be fair, we rarely used the ring because using the ring was only a privilege, if you know what I mean. So you only
Yes.
like timing, and that's how it should be. I mean, I had this conversation with someone previously, like they were complaining about, oh, there's no ring at that training, there's no ring at that training, and I I guess you can learn to wrestle without a ring in terms of the
Absolutely.
fundamentals and the
Because
basics.
you take away the ropes, you take away the corners, stick people on the mat, you're going to learn the hard way how to get out of a hold, right? Rather than
Hundred
just try
percent.
and get to the ropes.
So yeah, so 2006 every Sunday for 2 years, but it took me 3 months to have my first match.
3 months. That's really quick. Very
Well,
quick.
I kind of like, I was 21 at the time. I was working out. I looked athletic, which is, to be fair, is probably one of those things that if you look the part, you know what I mean. And I'm athletic enough, and I mean, just one of those people that just my hand at everything at that point. Any sport I played, I was okay at it. So wrestling was one of those things that I just sort of jumped in. I remember, so Rich and Famous, Sunset Skip, sorry.
Yeah, one of those.
But first session I had, I remember him down there, and he was like, do a flip bump. And I was like, all right, let's go. And I did it, and he was like, have you trained before? I was like, nope, never been down, never trained. Actually, that was a lie. I had, right? So I went down to FWA when they were in Finsbury Park when I was like 15, randomly with a friend on the train once. And that was the most random day ever. And I never went back. And it was like, well, all right. So then 6 years later, I decided football season ended. As you do, growing up in London, you play football every Sunday with your mates. And then football season ended. I saw that there was a school up in North London. Bear in mind, I'm from South. I drove. I thought, let's go. And that was it. The rest is history. 3 months later, I got beaten the crap out of in my first match.
As you do. I mean,
Yeah.
if you're not getting a bit of an arse whooping in your first match, you're not learning, I think.
No.
I mean, saying that my first match was on a holiday camp. It was Coombe Hastings, 2003, and
Okay,
my
yeah.
first match was a triple threat
Okay.
on a holiday camp.
All right.
I had to do a heel turn mid-match.
All right. Good. That sounds a bit entertaining.
Throw you in
No,
the deep end at
it was
15 as well.
It was that. So that first match, and then the week after that, we had an academy show, and I wrestled RJ Singh.
Wow. So yeah, I know how a DDT feels.
And no, it wasn't a DDT then, mate.
Oh no, it wouldn't have been back then, would it?
He's
No,
old.
it wouldn't have been.
That's what he does now. That's just simple.
Yeah. To be fair, yeah.
It was the Angels Wings his finish. The funny story about that match is actually I nearly died. Being an idiot, I'll explain, right?
Yeah.
Right?
That's
So
a good idea.
being an idiot, being a trainee and someone inexperienced, I was hitting the shooting star press. Fine, sweet, I can do it. It was all right. So finished the match, jump up top, missed the shooting star because Ross was like, I'm not taking that. Miss it, turn, Angel's Wings, which was what the move RJ was hitting at that point. So anyway, so I've gone up top, I've gone for the shooting star, and I haven't looked up. I haven't done the Sabu and looked up. And it was this old school hall. So they had the old gymnastic beams in the ceiling. Do you know the ones you used to climb up when you were little in your pants?
Yeah.
And yeah. As I've gone up, my head just smashed onto the beam. I've still rotated. I've still landed. I've still taken the Angel's Wings. I've come back and I'm like, no, I'm fine. I just hit my foot. Like in my head, I'm like, I've just clipped it as I've kind of come round. However, upon footage review, it was definitely my head. But I was athletic enough to still get that rotation around and still kind of like carry on. So it didn't hurt. I didn't feel it. I was fine. But that could have been terribly wrong. So literally every single time I go to a venue now, I do the Sabu and look up.
Valuable lesson learned, right? Because like you say, that could have
100%.
been absolute. That could have been the end of that. You wouldn't have ever been the Peckham
The end
Playboy.
before it even
Yeah,
started.
again, and it happens. I'm sure we've both seen it. Like people, this is why when people, you should do. You meet anyone that's outside of this industry that use the F word around you,
Yep.
and
Yep.
doesn't realise the risk that people put on the line, that put when they're putting their bodies on the line in the ring.
Yep.
Simple thing like that, something you learn very quickly. Was
Yep.
second match, you said, right? So second match is literally learning that if I don't check out, if I'm going to be the guy that's doing the shooting star press, I need to
Yeah.
know where I'm doing it and
Yeah.
what sort of distance I can get. Because again, if you hadn't learned that lesson, what would have happened? You'd be dead.
Yep. 100%. And then, like, from that point onwards, my first 2 years of my career was on TV every week, once,
Wrestling
twice.
channel.
Yep. So I
Hey,
was
fair enough. So who was that with?
so my main opponent on most of them shows was people like Richard Parliament. Remember Richards?
Yeah.
So we did a little thing for a couple of years or a year. Paul Malin, John Ritchie, which I learned a hell of a lot of, like especially my heel work now. Him, Carl Kramer, especially Carl as well. I learned so much from that guy. And I think someone the other day, drop kicks, are they known drop kicks now or DK or whatever? They
Always be drop kicks to me.
They decided they're going to do a little Hall of Fame sort of type gimmick, and they put John Rich. They decided to add John Ritchie's name into it, and people don't realise just how much of the industry in this day and age is actually influenced by what he done in his character work and his working ability, and how to structure matches and stuff like that. And especially his character work, he switched it up, and he was so influential. Quite a few people, to be fair, if you think about the people that come through that dropkick school at the time and who's still working now. Yeah, I got on really well with John and learnt a lot.
We've spoke about this quite a lot, obviously, because I am part of the original, very first dropkick class. So
Yeah.
the Tony Scarlo and Frank era. So before John Ritchie took over, and again we've said this, like especially from the early days, the names that you look at in the industry that started from that class to like the class after, you could just sit there and go.
You can reel them off. You can reel them off.
You can go like Nick Aldis is one of them.
Yeah.
Martin Stone, Danny Briggs, Danny Birch,
Yeah.
part of it. Marty Skrull, Wade Barrett,
Yeah.
big names. The names that go through that dropkick alumni, people, you think that school has literally been around 20, outlasted both of our careers so
Yeah,
far,
100%,
and
definitely.
the school's still going. In the same venue. I don't know if you ever actually trained.
I never went to the venue, so I only went to. So at one point they moved to like a facility that was specific to boxing and wrestling and everything like that. So I went there. They changed it up. John tried to expand the brand, and it didn't quite work out. So, but I went there because they had Angle down there at one point because they were doing like wrestling. So they had.
It was linked with LDN, right? If I remember correctly. Yeah.
There's some sort of it wasn't really linked. It was just there. So
a lot of their guys were going, like, were working for LDN, etc.
Yeah, a couple of them. I mean, Daniels, bless him.
Yeah.
Daniels is amazing. So it was he's right now down at Gen Pro as well, doing the bits down there. So it's good to see him. He just randomly threw a picture of me and him 15 years ago having a tag match on the Isle of Wight at me. I was like, all right, sweet. I completely forgot about it.
I'd be very surprised if me and you haven't crossed paths before this year, in that sense, because, I mean, I've technically been out of the business most of the last 10 years, etc. But before then, when you were starting, I would have been around shows if you were going to the big shows. I would have been.
I mean, we always have the case. Like the other day, I wrestled Will West at Gen, yeah, right, and he was going through an old SD card on a camera, and he was like, "Wait, what? We've met before." So essentially, he was a photographer at a show like 8-9 years ago, and he threw me these random promo pics that I'd never seen before. It was like I was the photographer on that show. But it happens, and like you meet so many people on your journey. You meet so many people through your time. And yes, you forget some of them, but again, but I've made so many good friends, and I've made so many, like Ross and Rich, like I love them to pieces, and I've known them since the day I started.
And like, honestly, two of the best people. I mean, they were two of the first people we brought in because, again, it's Ross and Rich. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's RJ was like instantly on my radar when we started thinking about this. It's like, don't forget, I'm partnering, I'm tagging with Skip now, and I was like, yeah, bring Rich in because, again, drop kicks.
What a phenomenal experience you have there, both of them. They've come through so many different, like, I mean, they're a couple of years older than me. They're not really that much older than me, to be fair, but they've had so much experience between them. And if anything, if you're developing your brand, building your wrestlers, building your what perfect people to bring in.
Well, to be honest, I have to give them credit to everything. I mean, they are literally who I turn to. I mean, as much as, yep, this wasn't my first time running shows. I'd run shows in the past. I've also been out of the game for a long time. Also looked for their experience, and they're brilliant at literally, right. This is an idea. Oh, would think about this. Come through. I mean, me and Ross are due a phone call where he sits or went, right. Here's a few pointers. Please don't take offense. Here's a few pointers from the last show. This I want to go through, and I looked through the pointers and I went, yeah, a lot of I actually really do agree with you, but there's also bits I've got arguments for this conversation because it's, again, we're trying to do something slightly different where we've got the content creators involved, and
Yes.
we're utilizing the podcast. I mean,
Yeah, that's it.
we're
Yeah.
building our brand, we're building our shows via the podcast, etc. like that. So we're trying to be slightly different. So, like, my head is, yeah, everything you think you would say I agree with, but also there's certain things I would change just because we're doing things a little bit different. So
The thing is, the thing with wrestling is everyone has their own opinion. Everyone has their own variation. Like if I was to wrestle, when I was to do something, someone would look at it and go blah blah blah. But that not necessarily is wrong or right. It's their opinion. And Ross doing what he does, he's been in this game for long enough. He can give you some advice, and you do what you do with that advice. If you want to accept it, accept it. If you don't,
the
don't.
thing is, it's the fact that I've got his and Skip's advice, and
That's it.
they've literally said to me, "Please use us. Please
Yeah.
draw on us. Please, we will help you in every sense we can." The fact that I know I've got them and I can turn to them makes my life so much easier because it's Ross and Rich. Like you say,
Which,
experience is the key there, isn't it? And it's,
which,
I mean, Ross, when I started, Ross was already on the FWA shows. He was one of us down at Dropkicks, but he was an RJ Singh. He was Ross Jordan then, and he was
the dragon, was he the dragon?
the
Ross Jordan?
Dragon. Yes, that's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we probably crossed paths at FWA shows back watching
Yeah.
shows then. Someone we looked up to already because he was already on the shows when we were starting. So I've always had my hand, and I was fortunate enough to finally get to step in the ring with him. I apologise to him because I wasn't in the shape I should have been. I wasn't ready, but when you pull that curtain a little bit, I couldn't have been happier with who I was in the ring with because I knew I was safe. That was the
And that's these people. They, as I said, like for instance, I'll give you Genesis. Genesis, for example, we had a reset, and start of 2024 was the rebranding, going, so sort of thing. And since that point, we have built this brand and grown this brand to a point that the other day at Halloween, we brand new venue, Halloween night, competing against a couple of shows locally-ish. We did really well for our first show there, and it shows that the quality of wrestling is improving, the shows are improving, and everything's improving. You're having people like myself and Johnny Kidd down there, and every now and then bring in people like Big F and Joe, and it's building that brand and building the quality. And if you don't learn from these shows and learn from your previous mistakes, it's just going to get worse. But it has grown, and as a product, Jen are doing absolutely fantastic. And it goes to show because their training school is exploding with talent, and they had the academy show last weekend, and I couldn't be more proud of those kids. To be fair, I say kids, some of them are adults, but I couldn't be more proud of those guys on the show. They're thriving. They're working towards something. So yeah, it's definitely improving. It's doing good.
Obviously, as you know, my first experience watching Gen Pro in person was bowling, and we obviously
This is you. You was inside the palm of my hand.
was I, yeah,
You were
yeah.
because you watched the match and you loved my match, and I loved the fact that you loved it.
Well, but the thing is, again, when my head is, I know there's this old thing, isn't it? Like, if you're in the business, you don't mark, you don't do this.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. I'm coming with my 8-year-old stepson and his best mate. I'm having the best time of my life because I'm going to be a wrestling fan with with the kids. And obviously, even the video. Obviously, I've got that interaction. I love that I caught that interaction with you at the beginning with the kids.
But I do it because that's it. You guys are coming through the door. You guys are paying the ticket. If you don't get that interaction with the wrestlers, what's the point? You're there to. I mean, at the end of the day, I'm not here to put myself over. I've gone beyond that now. 19 years. I don't care about it. I'm here to interact with the crowd as much as possible. The people that pay that ticket to come through the door, I am interacting with them as much as possible. Do you know what I mean? I am trying to do my best to show that these people, okay, it's a place to come and watch and have some fun. And that's it. If I didn't interact with you, I didn't see your boys when they came in. I didn't know a clue who you were. It was everyone that came through the door. It was just these two kids with a belt. It was like, oh, cool, let's go. I got a belt, you got a belt, let's go.
Yeah, not knowing that. Hang on, I've spoken to that guy, haven't I? Or somewhere. But that's what I mean. The boys instantly fell in love with it because obviously Jacob this year has been it's been a fantastic journey with him with wrestling. Going from a kid that he had one of my old wrestling figures. I'd bought him a ring, never. But when this became a thing of I'm going to put on a show, I knew I wanted him to walk out with me. I wanted it, so I thought let's try. And he's honestly. If you was to sit and talk to that kid, some of the knowledge, I'm not even lying. We were sitting here the other day and I was having a chat with some of the guys about plans, about TDW, etc. And Jacob was sitting here listening, 8 years old, and he went, right. I went, yeah. And he sort of went, whatever it was we were talking about, he come up with this idea. And I looked at the screen at the others and they were like, and I was like, yeah, that makes actual sense.
You mean the people that sit in the seats that want to see something? He's entertaining enough to go, Dad, what
He's
about
a
this?
very, very, very clever. He's always been super clever and forward, that kid. So I'm not gonna lie, him picking out the way he has, that he knows terms that I would never have known at 8 years old. He can figure it all out. He knows everything. So it's a brain that I'm like, do you know what? If this company continues, like I know it's in safe hands. I'm all right.
Yeah,
I've got my
CEO,
legacy.
next
And
CEO there.
he came down to, we even make the joke that he is the chairman of the company and he's the boss, but he takes it literal. Literal was like, we having a meeting this week.
You need to get him a whistle, mate. You need to get him a little whistle and a little loose. Just walk around. That's it. You do that. You do
Straight
that.
up, sunglasses on,
Yeah,
whistle and
that's
float.
it.
Yeah, love it. Again, they had such a good day down at Jedburgh, and I was taking notes. I mean, balling the venue, fantastic.
Stunning venue, absolutely stunning venue. And we've grown it. Like what I'm saying is, we've grown that venue. We could get. We had 30, 50 people just about walking through that door, and there was like 120, 130 people that day. Nearly both shows. I mean, there was just over 100. But I would love to see that venue 2, 3. Do you know what I mean? That is such a stunning venue. And the show, I mean, show-wise, I thought that bowling show was absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah,
Each match different, each match a variation, each match different style, different characters, and it was brilliant.
It was such. Like I said, I can't, obviously you do. If you're someone that is like looking, booking your own shows and that, you're looking at the venue yourself. And I said it on the podcast I did when I was talking about it. It was like everything about it. The only thing that stressed me out was for you talking about heights again. Was the TVs being so low.
Yeah, but I mean, we're professional enough to sort of realise this.
Yeah, of course. I said, but that's the only issue. But other than that, like having the TVs looked sick because it looked, like I said, it reminded you of like a stadium, but like a smaller version of a stadium because you got the TVs you could look up at and watch stuff, and it was so cool. I
still took a German off the top rope, backflipped it, and landed on my head. So.
Well, again, this is what talking about. They both walked out of there. All the matches, everything like that. They walked out of there, and this is when you've done your job as the proverbial heel of the story. As they come out there, their favourite wrestler of the day was Christian Croft.
Well, yeah. and that's it. And it's that ability to. He was a good enough face for me to. I'm always gonna. No, I'm not kind of blowing my own trumpet, but I know as a heel, they're not gonna like me, as in the audience. They're never gonna like me because I have that ability to. I interact enough with them for them to think this guy's a douche. I don't like you. So it's Christian's Croft then to go. The way I look at it is it's your job then as a baby face to put yourself over, fire up, have them empathize with you, and kind of have that empathy with you and want you to win and want you to. And I love the fact that when I messaged you, you said you thought he was actually going to win it.
That was the point. If I'm believing it, I'm like, okay, hang on, because again, this is my first Gen Pro show. I don't know where the story's at with you, and whether the title run's coming to an end or what the action is. But so if I walked in and believed it, I know it was good. I also believe that you kicked his head off.
Yep.
Because that kick, yeah, that kick was something else.
He sold it like
he
a
sat up
trooper.
with blood coming out of his mouth. I was like, oh,
Yep.
okay,
Like
yep. He definitely took it. And
since that point, I think I've defended it 3 times, and still have it. So Balling, 23rd of November. So this Sunday, I'll be 371 days as champion.
wow,
That's
nice.
defending it. It's going to be 14 times over the space of that year.
And who's this Sunday against?
John Tavius. So it's actually my first international defender, because John is a wrestler who wrestles in Canada at the moment. He's from the UK, but he's been in Canada for a good 10 years or so, wrestling over there on the independent circuit. So he has bought me, he has decided to revisit some past historical events that apparently we have had, which I have no recollection of. But for him, it's significant.
You might want to check on this, because this guy might be determined to be taking that belt back to Canada. So you might want to just check what your history is and what.
Well, the history being, right, he spit it the other day. He cut a promo which was him essentially taking them back on a history lesson, which was fine. So 13 years ago, I was his first ever title match. So I was champion at the time. I was his first ever title match. So this was when he was fairly new in the game. And then the last time we wrestled was 10 years ago. And the fact that he's remember these dates and I have no recollection of them, just to me, I've done way too much.
That's when you know you've been around, when you're forgetting more opponents than you're remembering. You know that you've been around for a while.
I couldn't even remember the fact that we wrestled, to be fair. But yeah, this Sunday, 23rd of November, I think, although I've had some really good challenges and I've had some really good... And the good thing about the matches that I've had is every single one of them has been a different opponent and a different style and a different match. Like the match you saw with Christian Croft, it was very much a gritty, fighty match, yeah? Mm-hmm. And then Will West was my next opponent, and Will was very much of over babyface. He is one of the most fan favourites. He come close to winning it, to be fair. He did come close to winning it, but my experience paid off, and that was it. So yeah, then after that, it was Mr. Brucey Bravo, which is another fan favourite, which we had a Halloween street fight on Halloween night.
Nice. Oh, is this? Yeah. I think I've seen clips from this.
Yeah, it was entertaining, and it was a different match, and we just finished the match in a no contest, and we carried on. Yeah, so and then this Sunday was my last title defence before John.
And so now we've hit over a year. Do you say every match has been different? Do you think, is that making you a stronger champion as such?
Oh, 100%. Yeah. In the sense of not in the sense of like a stronger champion. I mean, in terms of a wrestler, yes. Because despite the fact that I've been doing this 19 years, you learn every time. Every day's a learning day, and in fact, having that burden as being a champion on a brand and trying to grow this brand and trying to elevate Genesis Professional Wrestling is something that I've strived to do over the last year. And also, not only that, if I'm having the opponents from Genesis Professional Wrestling, my job as the vet is to elevate those guys. Elevate those guys to the point that they come out of that match feeling a lot better. Then they can go on and have better matches and have better, this, that, and the other. Like Will West, for example, came out of that match with such a high and has not really stopped talking about that match in the sense of what he's learned and what he's picked up from it. And he's like, no matter how long he's wrestled for, it was probably one of the most influential matches in the sense of he's growing as a wrestler. And that's what I want. And that is the only reason why I want it. I want to grow the guys there and I want to help them expand and I want to help the brand expand. And having that title is the burden I hold to help elevate it all. And I feel that the last year, as I said, as a brand, we've grown massively. We've grown absolutely massively. And it's nice to know that I've had some part in doing that, really.
I mean, again, my first experience with Gen Pro was that, and it's crazy when you look at that. A couple of months before the hand, I didn't even remember that I knew John and Lucy, etc. Until they walked into the nightclub I was working in, and John. It was purely that John was wearing a Stone Cold t-shirt, and I had literally cosplayed Stone Cold the week before the conversation started. Obviously, John. Now I remember who he was, but when he said, "Do you remember Lucy?" and Lucy was someone, I was like, "Oh my god!" Like this is literally someone from the past because Lucy was there at the original Dropkicks with us.
Yeah.
It's nice to see again, and the Scotsman, like seeing people from my past mixing up with these young talents. I mean, name that stood out to me on that day, and someone else that is looking, I'm definitely trying to bring over is Raymond.
Oh, do you know what Raymond is? Raymond's, I call him an anomaly.
Right.
He is he's a one in a million. He's under 16 years of age. He is wrestling 2-3 times a weekend for the last 18 months, nearly 2 years. He is a phenomenal talent. And when I first got in the ring with him, it was like I was really like one of his early matches in terms of before he kind of like started to get every single week. And then he kind of like got on a WrestleForce show and we main evented the WrestleForce show in his hometown. And then since that point, he's just kind of like gone on. But it was that point. He's mixing it up with some of the best in the UK. Yeah. And to have that experience at his age is unreal. And as a talent, he is, again, he's an anomaly. He is one in a million. And it's hard because some of the guys down there see him as, oh, I can do what Raymond does, but you can't. That's stick to your own lane. Let
that kid. I mean, again, I'd seen shows of him because we were in talks of him coming over for October, etc. And I'd seen videos, but seeing him in person and seeing the way he, like, again, I started at 15 in the business. Yeah. There was no, even when I was by the time I was 21, I probably couldn't have had the ring awareness that just that. I mean, and he's still a kid. He's still a kid.
Fun fact: I wrestled his old man. His old man started off so Lucy's other half, Chris. So I used to wrestle with his old man. And wrestling Raymond was like, this is weird.
Now I'm old.
Yeah, but prior to the match you saw, Christian, the last bowling show, I had a world title match against Raymond, and knowing the fact that pushing this boy and helping him, and we both pushed each other, to be fair, and I do have a lot of respect for that boy, even though he's 15, and he's an old head. He doesn't seem like a 15-year-old. Do you know what I mean? Like when I was 15, I was a total bellend. So for him, he's got a 15-year-old's head in the sense of, he's still young and he's juvenile and this, that, and the other. But in the sense of looking at him, the way he acts in the ring and around wrestling shows, you wouldn't think this kid's 15.
If you walked in there without knowing that, you would never in a million years think that he was a 15-year-old lad, and that's what makes it so good. Because again, you can't just sit there and say, "Do you know what? I'm not even going to sit there and say I'm not envious of him." Like 15 years old, and we both can sit here and say, "I guarantee 10 years time we do another podcast, we'll be talking about." Do you remember that Raymond O'Reilly? Now up
Yeah.
there, because if it doesn't work out for him to not be a phenomenal and super talent that goes far, then he's squandered an opportunity in my head, because the kid's got everything in a package at his age, which will only get better with time, with experience. And
I think next year would be one of those. He's 16 next year, so a lot of promotions won't touch him until he's 16, but that's fine.
but they're all gonna. They're all gonna.
I think Lucy's already said her phone's buzzing. So
Again, like he was someone that I was eyeing up for the 28th of February, because Blue Eye. I told you we're looking for a Blue Eye night, and we instantly was like, didn't have him last time. Let's bring Raymond in. Let's talk to him, because he was literally in the WhatsApp group and everything, and ready to talk. Like, I can't remember what happened, but it just didn't work out. So I was like, well, we'll talk to. I was like to Lucy, and he's booked for that same day for a Wrestle 4 show, and it's the other side of London, and it was kind of like, it just isn't going to work out for it. But okay, I went to let's talk about June, because I need to know, because
you need a good baby face, mate. Brucey Bravo is an amazing baby face. I don't know if you remember the last show, he gets so much fire, his energy is phenomenal, as a Bravo as a wrestler has developed a lot in the last year. So he's starting to get out and he's starting to do some new things.
This is one of the things I like. I mean, it was when I put on the show in May, it was 7 years since I was in a wrestling show and wrestled. 7 years. It's 2014, so it's been 11 years since I promoted a show. So much has changed. Firstly, simply, I used to have to print tickets.
Yeah. No, just send it to them. That's it.
Yeah, no, I don't have to do anything. I just set up the tickets on Eventbrite, and it does it all for me, and I get paid. It's great. This is great. How it works, it's different. So one of the other things is the social media aspect of this. Like, you remember it was like 19 years ago when you were trying to put yourself over, you'd have to send your tape.
What can you do? Yeah.
Or they'd have to be there in attendance to see you. Or
to be fair, that was the longest part of the whole thing. And well, where I was just on one promotion, just wrestling every weekend. So I really didn't care. I had matches every week. I didn't put myself out. I didn't do anything like that. So, which is probably one of the things that I probably should have done a bit more, but I didn't want to, and I didn't really bother me. All I saw was myself wrestling every weekend.
Some people, that's it. Some people don't want to. You know what I mean? Don't want to go out. You're happy as long as you are doing what you're doing, and that's what I mean. Like, look at it now that with the social media, if you're a young wrestler and if you're not making reels, if you're wrestling every weekend and you're not making content for the rest of the week of their reels, you're doing something wrong. Because
like in terms of reels and this, that, and the other, like I wouldn't know where to start most of the time, and like I don't have the ability to chop a match up and create a little music video and this, that, and the other. But I feel
send your matches over. I know it's that bit.
Yeah, I do, of course. They're all on my YouTube, and I can send them over, and then you can watch them. You can do what you want to them. There's a couple of them are edits, but that's fine. But in terms of my social media content, my wife has them up for me every time. She said, "You never post anything of us." I'm like, well, it's just purely, I do try to post something all the time. If it's a little clip or a little video or a little picture or, this, that, and the other. I try my best to get myself out there. And the last couple of years, it does show, and people do see clips, people do see content. And if you're not doing that, if you're not going to promote yourself, no one's going to promote you.
Exactly. It is. It's always been the way, isn't it? You are a self-employed wrestler, so use the tools around you to put yourself over. And if you looking at social media, and if I look at your social media and you've got no following, no videos, why am I going to book you?
No promo pics,
especially what we're doing, because we are utilizing podcasts, we're utilizing content creators. I want people that want to be on the internet, because I want to walk away from my show. the biggest buzz when I walked away from that first show, Never Say Die, was the next week going on TikTok and seeing hundreds of videos of my show that no one that was working on the show posted. It was the crowd. It was it was then the wrestlers. Then it was
but still.
this going over and over. It's like, oh my God, this is insane.
So they're promoting themselves as wrestlers. They're also promoting your brand, expanding your brand, and that's the one thing. Like, especially wrestlers that are booked on shows and don't even share the content of the shows that they're booked on. I'm like, come on, like you're this person has taken the opportunity, the time to go, do you want to do my show? And you're not promoting the fact that you're on the show or cutting a quick promo or something like that. It's frustrating because, again, you are a brand and you are your own product, and if you don't promote the stuff that you're doing, no one will do it. And social media's there.
You look at it's again going into the old school of the business. You look at the people that turn up first, people that want to don't avoid doing the ring. You look at people that want to make an effort for your brand from the smallest little thing, like you say, turning up there and helping out with the ring. Yeah, these days, especially, like I get noticed, especially because we use Paul Temple's ring, and he brings the guys down. They're so professional. I don't even take note of what's going on with the ring because it's done in such a smooth way. I'd have to.
You still can help out. You still can go and grab a board. You still can go and this, that, and the other. There's no harm in that.
I mean,
not you.
I'm past.
Not you personally. You're the promoter, mate.
That's the only reason I promote shows. I don't have to do a ring job. No, but it's simple. It's just promote that day or that. If I'm, because I will sit here and I'll spend hours editing videos to do it. I'm watching everyone that's on my roster or in my WhatsApp group. Who's sharing, who's doing what, because I'm thinking of the future. I'm thinking of that thing behind me. I'm thinking of. We're looking at tag belts. We're looking at this. I'm thinking of who's going to have that. If I'm going to come,
I've got a tag team partner.
Yeah.
Oh. I started in South London Syndicate. Me and Tyler Walker. So nothing north of the river, mate. Only south.
That's unfortunate for you. We are the north of the river. So
I'll travel, but I don't like you.
I mean, ethics ain't too bad. All right, it's all right.
But expanding brand. I mean, so for instance, the guys down at the training school and the academy. Oh, can I get on a show? Can I go on a show? What are you doing? What are you doing to promote this show? What are you doing to get yourself on this show? Yes, you turn up to training, but that's not enough. You still need to poster. The fundamentals of a show is going out and poster, flyer in, going out, handing out leaflets, doing a promo, helping out with this. Like, it's the fundamentals of promoting.
I mean, I give credit to someone that we had on the show, Ryan Matthews. Do you know Ryan from WAW?
No, I don't know him.
So Ryan was, we last minute needed an opponent for D'Angelo, who was our American coming over. And last minute needed it, and Ryan stepped up. And I will tell you this, Ryan stepped up, and not only did he straight away, boom, I got a promo video of him. He's like, yep, on this weekend I'm wrestling. Let me get this on. Let me get this video done. He done it. Boom, we got this video out of him. He came, he stepped in, and he, we
did
put
what he had to do.
Our main event, and he delivered. Bringing him in made it. The idea of, hang on, we've got an American guy making his UK debut. We're bringing in Sir Ryan Matthews, who, the gimmick there is that he is British, pure British. Let's make this a British rules match. And it gave that bringing him in, like he was the last person we booked for the show. His match and him coming in and doing this British rules match gave us a reason that we called the show back in time, because we took it back to the World of Sport days. And it's that. If I'm going to put on a show, come in, and what are you going to do to elevate me so I can then elevate you? And
think about where you already hit the nail on the head. He came from WAW, and Ricky Knight and Julia, that they're old school heads, and you're not promoting my show, you're not on my show, you're not handing out flyers, you're not doing whatever to be on this show, you're not gonna be on the show. So having that old school mentality, so to speak, Yeah, social media wasn't around, you know what I mean? Just about, well, I don't even think was Facebook around when I started, I don't know.
I know my Facebook started in 2007. We might have been on MySpace in
Yeah.
2006.
So I wasn't even MySpacing or anything like that
No,
or whatever. I didn't do any of that. So for me, it was like, yeah, but they didn't have anything. It was old school style on radios.
it was handheld. I've got VHSs of my
I don't want to know your
holiday
VHS
camps.
collection, mate, but yeah, okay.
No, you never even had any of that. No, you didn't. I had a little camera I used to take to all my shows, and I've got videos of all the holiday camps and looking back. And to be honest, I want to do a sit down and a watch through if I can figure out a way to play the tapes through
Plug it off, yeah.
laptop, sit there and watch some of the old school matches and show people what the holiday camps really were like because they were a learning curve. We're at 45 minutes. I know you've got to go. Is
No,
there?
go on, you're sweet. Carry on.
Yeah, cool. We'll keep going till you give me a look of. I've really got to go. What's left for you now? Like you're 19 years into this. You are the champion of Jam Pro. The title run is phenomenal.
371 after Sunday, mate.
371.
Carry on into the future.
Yeah. So are you looking at, right, okay, I'm now 19 years in, it's time to start slowing down? You like, nah, listen.
Well, this weekend says to be otherwise because although we have bowling on Sunday on the 23rd, so we got the family show at 12 and then the adult show at 5 p.m. The night before, I'm in Milan. So I'm going to Milan on Saturday afternoon, wrestling in Milan Saturday evening, which probably ends at about 12:30, 1 a.m. like it did last time, and then flying straight home at 6 and straight to bowling, straight to... So next year, in fact, that side of stuff is elevating. I'm going Germany next year again. I'm going, hopefully going to go back to Milan and hopefully another international booking that I'm just waiting to confirm. So it's something that the last couple of years I've tried to do, not necessarily for, okay, cool, it's for wrestling purposes, but like to try and help myself. I just wanted to do it. For me, it was like, it's something I wanted to do. I've never done it. I've always wrestled here. I've always wrestled up and down the country, and I've enjoyed that a lot, but I thought I want to do something that everyone else is doing. I'm like, do you know what? I want to wrestle abroad. And I did get a chance this year to go to Milan and wrestle in Milan at the start of the year. And it was phenomenal, absolutely brilliant, to the point that I'm obviously booked again for this weekend. And next year, Germany and potentially Cyprus and hopefully again Milan. But we'll see. Maybe others in Italy, we'll see. So it's something I want to do. So yeah, there's no stopping. I think with the fact that my eldest has started, he had his first match this past Sunday at the Academy show. I think maybe sticking around for a little while and helping him grow and helping him develop and see what happens. I mean, he's only...
I mean, I hate to admit it that, when we're looking at our careers, the longer part is probably behind us than in front of us. I mean, especially for me, I don't actually wrestle anymore, but in the sense of like in that part of it. But your son is
14, mate.
14.
He's 14. Yeah.
14 is got a whole career ahead of him. He's coming in as you're getting to that point, and potentially like, well, the more he gets busy, you can look at, okay, my time's shortening, but maybe I can still stick around because son needs a manager, needs someone there to be at the shows, to be...
Yeah, I mean, I'm not that old. I feel that I still can go. I still feel that I've seen. If you look at the prime WWE guys at the moment, I'm not comparing myself to those guys, but they're a couple of years older than me and things like that. So I can still feel that I still have a few years left. But what I see myself as wrestling wise is somebody experienced enough to help guide that next generation through. Yeah. Help, as I said, grow a brand, expand the talent, grow that talent. Help. I'm not here to put myself over. I'm here to help people develop, learn from my mistakes, learn from what I didn't do or did do. So for myself, I see myself as that now. Like, don't get me wrong, if someone came calling, I'll go, but it's a matter of as I said, Gen Pro being the prime example of helping those boys develop, helping them grow. So watching Felix, my oldest, starting out, he had his first match. We sat down last night, had a complete review of his match. Yes, it was his first match. So I was like, you can't really go by that. What you learned from this is what you're doing. And I mean, I'm going to touch on it because last Sunday, the match I had was probably one of the most fulfilling matches I've ever
Right,
had.
yes, yeah. I'm so glad that we'll come back to this. Yeah, obviously you sent me the video, and yeah, please dive into this
So
because
can I start off so the first academy show that Gen Pro had. So as I said, as a brand and as a school, they've developed so much in the last couple of years. Now the first academy show, I want to say start of the year, something like that, about 6-7 months ago. And John invited me to come down as the champ. He went, come and have a watch, see how everything goes. I watched the show, and as you would expect, trainees being trainees and having some of the experienced guys on the show, that they had fun, they had a blast, and I couldn't be more proud of all of them. And then the main event was John Moores against a kid named Will, who is autistic, and he calls himself the autistic titan. He's happy with that, and he's the leader of the AWO, which is the Autistic World Order.
oh, I love it.
He's proud of that, and he loves that, and that's his superpower, and he's absolutely proud of it. So John, being the pro, he was like, and knowing Will for a number of years whilst he's training, was like, he wanted to give him that platform and give him that opportunity to wrestle. And I was like, sat in the audience. The first thing John did was grab the mic and said how proud he was of Will. And sitting there going, okay, cool. They had the match. John put him over. He grabbed the mic at the end of the show, and he brought me to tears.
Oh,
Okay? He grabbed the mic, he went, I said to myself one day after watching John Cena versus The Rock at WrestleMania 28 and WrestleMania 29 that I will one day be a wrestler. And that is just giving you goosebumps, right?
yeah.
Okay. Because that's exactly how I felt. And then he proceeded to go, I am challenging the Peckham Playboy for the Genesis Professional Wrestling World title. And I'm sitting there like holding my face, kind of doing that. And then I was like, sorry, what? So I've slid in the ring now. And we were a couple of the boys outside thinking, if he's in character right now, Will was about to get his head kicked off. And I was like, shook his hand and raised him because I couldn't steal that moment from him. Because that moment for him was a dream come true. And then John decided that he wanted to do another academy show before the show for the end of the year. And we didn't forget the challenge of the Autistic Titan. So we had it. Genesis Professional Wrestling World Champion against the 6'2" boxing machine. It was the Autistic Titan. It was one of the most fulfilling moments for myself.
You can see that in the match. Like, I see you sent me the video and I was watching it, and my little boy's autistic, and so I'm learning. He's 5, and I'm learning a lot of the world of dealing with autistic children and the difference. Every child is different, etc. So I've learned a lot, so much. So yeah, that hit me in the feels more because I think of my little boy and think of when he grows up. That if he wants to get into wrestling, I hope there's someone like yourself that is will, and someone like John and Gen Pro to bring him. Hopefully, John's still got Gen Pro because then I can send him there. But watching the match. It was heartwarming because that's it. You made that kid's dream.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yep.
he's not the champion, but you made
But
him feel he one day he will be. And
yeah.
you know what? Whether it's from you or not, I hope he is. I hope we look at this. That was his first title match. I hope we, for that young lad to look at it and go,
You know,
It'll be
it might be an academy title somewhere along the lines that
I
he
think
can.
that's a great idea. I mean, look, I mean, hopefully, you've got the weight.
John, book it. Academy champion. Your
Yeah, we're
autistic
saying it now.
titan.
We're saying it now. Listen, from a dad of an autistic child and someone that wants to see everybody succeed, especially a young lad like that. The determination in his face is there throughout that match. John, I think you need to book it. And what's the lad's name?
Will.
It is Will. Will, listen, you will be a champion, dude. Because listen, if you're already facing the Peckham Playboy, and I've seen that match, you're holding your own, dude. And you had the balls to challenge him after your first match. You were ready. Listen, that sounds to me. It sounds like he was ready, and he knew what he was doing before that match. He knew he was.
100%. I mean, he has such supportive family around him and helping him to this journey. And knowing the fact that his father came up to me beforehand was like, I'm so glad he's in there with you
Oh,
because I know you're going to look after him, which I did do. And again, I'm not here to put myself over. I'm here to help people develop, help people grow. And if that's not an example of that, I don't know what is. So I helped him in terms of playing to his strengths, playing to what, again, that's the empathy point, isn't it? Like, okay, yeah, I grabbed the mic and I was a bit of a twat at the start of the hand, but we're telling a story here, correct?
Yeah,
we're telling a story.
They already love him. You're just making sure they love him even more because they hate you.
100%.
That's what they do.
Even to the point that, the start of the match, I grabbed the mic and I gave the ultimatum, either stay in the ring and get the shit kicked out of you or go. And he decided to plod out of the ring. And it was like, no, don't go, Will, don't go. Turn back. And then improv, suck it, ripped his shirt off. And I was like, go on, boy. And that was all improv and that was all him. And I was like, they're invested even more now. They're invested even more, and it was brilliant. It was brilliant, and the fact that the crowd were so engaged and into that match, you saw them on the highs, you saw them on the lows, you saw them trying to just willing him on, and him. I think I had the conversation last time. Like wrestling wise, it's about the audience and having that engagement with the audience. Zoop, 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 zoop. The crowd will go in ballistic and just doing this the whole time. If you have nothing to give to the crowd in terms of a chant or a say or an indication or something, they're not going to interact with you. They're not going to kind of get behind you or something like that. So the fact that he has this zoop, 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 they were doing it the whole match. So then when it comes to the points in which it needed to be done, it was naturally they were doing it. And he did that all by himself. All I said to him is, just sell it. And that's all you need to do and get that crowd behind you. As I said, I sat there with my oldest, watched Felix's match, and then I watched the match that I had with Will. And I was like, again, like just teaching Felix the fundamentals of wrestling on the heat and this, that, and the other. And I was like, this was all Will. He got it. He understood it. He understood his role. He understood exactly what he needed to do at what points. And I was like...
And that's where I think the autistic brain, it can fascinate. It's fascinating because, that you learn that autism isn't a disability. It's a different way of thinking. Their brains function differently. And they're picking up. My little boy, he's 5 years old, hasn't learned to read at school, but can literally read pretty much anything. He hasn't learned to read, but he can read everything.
Yeah.
He'll look up and he'll see my Beetlejuice poster and he'll read it. And the brain, because they pick up things, he memorizes videos and memorizes things. So Will can, just because he's autistic doesn't mean he's not going to have a wrestling career. If anything, he could have a phenomenal wrestling career because of the way he thinks, and he could think of things, and his brain will help.
I had this conversation with Percy Trainer, who another one that RJ Singh and that you wrestled down in UBW. So Billy, I've known Billy since he started, and we're really close friends. Weddings, he's come to my wedding, birthday. We've gone to each other's kids' birthday parties, and it's one of those friends that I have. As you do, you make friends in the industry. Yeah. Okay. He was in the background. He was popping so hard for every moment. He messaged me afterwards. He was like, "This kid could be on any show, anywhere, and do really, really well." Because of the fact that he just did so well in that. But don't get me wrong, you have to have the right hill, you have to have the right moment, you have to have this. Like, he could not have went in there with somebody that planned every single element of that match.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Oh yeah,
Like,
yeah, absolutely.
I'm experienced enough to go, well, I'm going to play to your strengths and we'll only do these little bits. And then we'll go from there. So the good thing about it is we hit everything in perfect timing for the match. Even though there was a little bit in between when he had a little hope, that was a maybe. What I mean by maybe is, I said to you, if I do this, if we go for it and you feel the need to fight out something, just do it. He just did it mid-match. And I was like, but it wasn't even planned. He felt it. I said, you got to feel that point. And he felt it, and he was like, he just started fighting up. And I was like, perfect.
And that is what I mean. I genuinely, Will, I hope you are watching, because we're an hour into this. I hope you see this. From someone that's wrestled you, someone that's seen your match and knows that you are going all in. Keep at it, and you never know. You never know. I mean, I'm going to keep an eye. I'm already watching now because Hakan's put you in my eyesight. You never know. That could be something else towards you. You never know. There's more than one belt out there. If you can't take his just yet, maybe we've got one over here that you can look at. I'll be keeping an eye. Don't you worry. And maybe I'll ask your opponent, but I think deep down a friend. Again, just let me know when you're ready to step over the other side of the wall. But you'll keep me interested.
Don't worry, we'll sort it, mate.
Exactly, because I think that's the lesson that comes out of this episode. That's I've picked up on, is that you know this is the first time we've had a real conversation.
Yep.
I've only actually seen you in person in character. So
Yeah.
how in the arse you can play.
That's my job, right? My job is to make people
exactly.
happy.
So like I said, the fact that I can see this, and like I said, you've said it throughout, and I think you've got the great way of looking at things, is that it's not about you, it's about everyone, right? It's everyone that you're working with. It's about the kids that are coming up now, because where was people like that when we started? There was people, but there was a lot more at that time of negativity,
Selfishness, yeah, definitely.
selfishness, the things that were going on in the locker rooms back then. You wouldn't even allow that.
But that's our job. Our job as that generation that are now considered that experience to change that and make it better. RJ is perfect. Skip is perfect. Do you know what I mean? These people have seen all that shit and they know that. Well, yeah, the generation in this day and age is, it's our job to protect them. It's our job to show them. It's our job to do what we got to do to make sure that next generation is thriving.
You know, you can put it down to, I think, like, especially in the early 2000s, there was a lot of bitterness because wrestling in the UK was nothing, was it? From the 80s until 2000s, thank God for things like FWA and that bringing this back into the limelight. But there was a lot of them. I mean, camaraderie is one word.
I know you mean. I know.
Yeah, there was a lot more to it than that, and there was a lot more, like, because you were younger, it was kind of like you were nobody.
Yeah.
I think again, we came through the learning process of seeing all of that, but also at a time where we realised, I don't think this is okay, and
Yeah.
am I going to be that guy? And don't get me wrong, I won't name it, but I've seen people of our age that mentality is, well, I was treated like shit when I came through and I was beaten around the bush. This is how I do it. And I remember specifically being at a training show and someone who actually went on and did okay, but thankfully, movements happen that stop their momentum.
But some people like not they learn more when you're a bit more straight with them. Like in terms of that match, shit, you could have done this, could have done that. They learn from that. That's fine. But then there's some people you got to know people, you got to read people, you got to have that ability to know how to talk to someone and when to talk to someone and this, that, and the other. And you know, someone is not going to take it. You know what I mean? That's it. And I think knowing wrestling the way I know wrestling, I think I have that ability to sort of be able to, like Raymond, for instance, I can tell him straight up.
Yeah.
I can tell him straight up, don't do that again. That wasn't good. Or the same way he banters with me and like, you know, that was crap and this, that, and the other. And that's it.
But with Will, you would be a lot more sensitive with how you're explaining things, because it's something I've learned from managing, isn't it? It's managing in a business, stuff like that. I know if you're talking to me, I don't like being told off. If I'm doing things wrong, talk to me. Don't come at me, because if you come at me, I'm going to come at you, and I'm probably going to end up losing my job.
Do you know how I knew that? From straight away when you was telling me about RJ's messaging you and you were straight away arguing points. I'm like, that's definitely what he would do, and I knew it straight away.
But it's not even not arguing point, but debating it. There's so you know, in that sense, but I will always have an argument for everything. So if you're coming at me arguing, you're gonna get the heel version of me. If you come at me and go, hey, you know, so. For example, the way RJ did that was RJ was like, right, I've just got some few pointers. Please don't be offended. No, I wouldn't be.
Sweet.
If you come at me and go, no, I didn't like the way you did this, this, and this. Cool. You ain't coming back to my room, mate, because that's not how you talk to me. You know, we have a conversation to me. But again, like I say, that other people are different, aren't they? Everyone is treated different. Like, I know, I've never met the guy, but I know with Will, if I was going, if I had anything I wanted to go over with his man, say, you know, I think I wouldn't go over there and go, listen, no, mate, no, Will, right? Because I would never be like this to you, Will. I'd be straight with you and say, I really like what you did here, but you know, this little thing, I think we can work on that. Let's work on it together. Let's go over there and let's do it together. And
But that's what we did. Like initially, I took him into a nice, quiet space, and we talked through what we had to do and did what we had to do. And I took him in a nice, quiet area and I had a good conversation with him. So again, it's our job to help these guys develop. Like that's the prime thing that I hope for Felix. Like I'm here. Just go reiterate a little bit about Felix. So Felix, I've had zero input into his training or his wrestling thus far. I've had no input into him purely because I want him to learn, and I want him until he comes to me and says, "Dad, what can I do better?" Like yesterday.
And is there also a part of it that's like, I don't want to be soft on him because he's my son. I want him to go out and learn the hard way.
Sort of, but also giving him that independence. Like, for instance, training-wise, I don't take him to training. He goes and gets on the bus and goes to training because there's a bus stop up top of our road. He gets on the bus and he goes to training. And there's ring training, which he'll message one of the guys there and come pick me up, and then he'll go. So I want him to have that independence. I want him to learn. I want him to grow. And, you know, if there's anything he feels that, like, for instance, the match he had, he felt, it was a bit short. Can we have a little watch and see what we can do? He come to me and he talked to me about it. Again, it's knowing those guys around him, the experienced guys on these shows, and knowing the fact that I have faith in their ability to help him grow. It's taking that back seat and not wanting to jump in. Yes, I helped him with his match planning and this, that, and the other. That was purely because there was just like, I was just explaining to the fact that
you're also there for that.
Yeah,
exactly. But I like that you're not overshadowing him in the sense of, you know, again, we know that you're self-employed. You could be in a tag team, whatever, but you are self-employed. He's not always going to have Dad around and every show, and it's best he knows that before it starts happening than going in and being softened by having your dad as such.
Yeah. And can he get there by himself?
Yeah, exactly. I absolutely love it. I am going to make a point because I know you've got to leave for work at 10:30, right?
Sweet.
And this podcast, when we press stop, there's going to be a few seconds, hopefully only a few seconds, where things need to upload. Sometimes it takes a little bit longer. So I'm going to make the call and I want to come back and have another conversation because, you know, I love talking, you know, we can do all this in character. We can do this where we're playing the character, but I love talking through the realness of what we are, especially with people.
And it is. It's been a genuine conversation, and which I've
all
loved.
the way through, and I could easily go on. When I first started, I was sitting there thinking, all I want to do is go back to sleep because I was.
I did my first podcast a few weeks back, a couple of months back, and that's one thing I thought that will I sit there and silently just not say anything? But again, I have a wealth of knowledge and a wealth of understanding, so we've had a
It's
natural
all stuff you're
flowing
talking about
conversation.
that you like, right? And this is again how this conversation started. As I said, Ashley Reed was the guy I started this with. It all came from we used to talk on the phone every week for over an hour talking about geeky stuff. So why don't we just press record? That's what we're doing. It's Talks with Dorks. We're just nerds like geeky things, whether it's Superman or movies or wrestling. We just talk about stuff we like doing.
We're all marks, as they like to say.
Exactly, and I'm marks for everything. I generally have just come to the conclusion I'm a mark for men in spandex, Power Rangers, superheroes, wrestling. It's clearly men in spandex that is my.
Sweet.
Yeah.
You do you.
Right, obviously, I've just got to do our quick promotion stuff. Don't forget, Tree Frog Grading. If you're a card grader, get your cards graded by going to treefroggrading.com and using the code TWD15. Also, Graffiti Washed. JC's got his own clothing range. It can be classed as controversial or a bit of fun, but the link's below. Go use the code TalksWithDorks30 to get yourself 30% off. And then, of course, Patreon. Never Say Die and Back in Time. Both shows are on our Patreon page right now, and you can watch them both for free by clicking the link before and redeeming a month's free. When we're talking about our shows, Danger Zone's coming on February 28th. We've already decided that the Peckham Playboy can't be there, but whether he likes it or not, I hope he's already penciled it in. June 20th is our next show. I'd like to see the Peckham Playboy there, so if you're around,
Maybe. We'll
maybe.
see.
All right, we'll leave it there. Do you want to give us your socials or anything where people can find you?
To be fair, Peck and Playboy all the socials. So give a link, give a follow, give a like, give a follow. That's it. Peck and Playboy.
And if you're around, I mean, this episode will be out before. If you're around this Sunday, get yourself down to Balling in Maidstone, Kent, Gen Pro. Go see the guys down there. Go see whether the champion keeps his belt or if that belt's going back to Canada. Oh, pressure's on, dude. That's a big one to, you're not just losing the belt, you're losing it to another country. So pressure's on.
No sweat, mate. I'm good.
Cool. Thank you for being here.
You're welcome.
Later. You're a dork.
I hate dorks. Talks with Dorks. May the power protect you.
Let's rock it!